try it in the van. Here's one I prepared earlier. And if you want to see how it's made by the magic of Keith's editing and a flickery hand, watch now. Right, so I'm going to cook this beef and coconut curry, in our Instant Pot. So what I've done for a start, I've got all the ingredients together, weighed out, measured out. So the ingredients are a couple of large onions, some ground garlic, some ground ginger, a couple of carrots, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 14 ounce or 400 gram tin of chopped tomatoes, 200 mils of beef stock, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon of ground coriander, teaspoon of turmeric, 60 mils of coconut milk, and I've also added some cardamom seeds and half a cup of desiccated coconut. So first of all, what we have to do, I've already chopped roughly in the chopper the garlic and the ginger and the carrot and the onion. So the Instant Pot's on, switched on to saute, oil's warming up, using olive oil in there. So it's time to first of all fry this. Won't need long. Get it going. Oh, of course, the most important part of a beef curry is the beef, and I've not told you how much is in that. So I've got 700 grams of lean beef chunks. So that's in the Instant Pot. Just stir that for a little while. I do like the Instant Pot. It's one of the best things ever because it's so quick. So I hope you're enjoying the video of the lake so far. You've enjoyed seeing what we get up to. Hopefully by the time you're watching this bit, we've had a good day. So I've got the Instant Pot on saute, as I say, and it's actually switched to medium saute at the moment rather than low or too high. So I might actually switch it to high. Just to get it going and sizzling a little bit. It's already smelling good with the ginger and the garlic. And you can see it steaming away. And the onion's making my eyes water. It's quite a strong onion I put in there. So I've been doing that for a few minutes now, just stirring it constantly. The carrot and the onion have softened, so you can see. So now it's time to add the beef and the spices, and finally the tomato puree for now. So I'll do that now. Next, so in goes a nice lean beef. I've got the paper in there. That's stirring. So that's the beef in. Next, it's the spices. I've already measured them out and got them all together. I'm going to get a teaspoon, just give them another little stir and just sprinkle those in. Stir those in before I add the tomato puree. Oh, and it's smelling lovely. It's a pity it's not smelly YouTube. Smelly vision. So as you can see, stirring those in. I'm not actually cooking the beef to the point where it's sealed. It's literally just to warm it through slightly. Get all those nice spices mixed in with it. It really does smell good. So once I cook this, we'll get to taste it in the van on our first evening meal away of the trip. Okay, so that's all the spices in, stirred into the meat. So it's time to add the tomato puree now. I'll give it a nice colour. Again, stir away. If you've not got an Instant Pot, or you've actually thought about getting one and haven't yet, I really can recommend it. Apart from anything else, everything's so quick, and in these times of money being tighter for people, it's a good way of doing quick things without having to resort to having the stove lit. And you can steam a load of vegetables at the same time as well in it. Right, so that's mixing nicely. So now it's time to add in the chopped tomatoes. And the stock, which I just used a couple of OXO cubes to make the stock. Again, a nice good stir. Got another look. Here we go. That's stirred in nicely there. So you're just stirring it to combine it all. Make sure it's well mixed in. Now I like to add the coconut milk at this point. If I was doing it on the stove top, I'd add it later, but because I'm doing it all in one pot in this pressure cooker, I'm going to add it now. So say I've already measured this out as well. I'll just give it a nice creamy texture. Smelling good. Looking good. And it'll be done so quickly. I'm doing this and I'm going to let it cool so I can put it into a tub, put it in the fridge of the van, which you'll see it coming out of the van, won't you? Out of the fridge. So now I'm going to add the coconut. So I'll go half a cup of coconut, and again I'll stir that in. And then it'll be time for the magic tartan. So I've switched the saute off now that it's cooked through a little bit, and I'll mixed together. So it's time to add the lid. One nice little simple, and make sure the valve is pressed to lock. And then it's time to pressure cook. So these are all, if you've not seen one of these before, this is flashing. It doesn't flash, it's just flashing because it's on camera. So I'm going to set it to high pressure for 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and see how it's looking. So press pressure cook there. And it's on 35 minutes at the moment, so I want to reduce that to 20. You've got a keep warm button here that you can use, but we don't want to keep it warm. We want to let it stop cooking. And that's it. It'll flash in a minute to say that it's starting cooking. Not flashing like this. This is actually, as I say, solid. But there you go. It's now on. It'll start heating up, reaching pressure. And then it'll cook at pressure for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to leave it for another 10 minutes to naturally release pressure before I release the pressure fully. And then it'll be cooked. Time for me to have a coffee while that's doing. Just beeped to say it's reached pressure. No, it's gone from being saying on to the timer, which is 20 minutes. And that'll count down to 0. And then it'll beep again. And then it'll start counting up. And we want it to count up for 10 minutes while we let it do a natural pressure release before we release pressure fully. So that's it. We'll let it work its magic while I go and finish my coffee. So that's it. It's got another minute to go where it's pressurized. And then it'll beep. And then it'll start counting up again. And as I say, we want it to count up for 10 minutes while it releases pressure on its own before we do a manual release. So that's the beep to say that it's finished. So we've just got another 10 minutes to wait and then we can have a look at it. So we've had 10 minutes of it releasing naturally. Now it's time to help it along. A little pin here. When that drops, that's all the pressure released and we can take the lid off. It's like watching a watch pot. What is the saying? A watch pot never boils. Well, this is like a watch pressure cooker never releases pressure quick enough. Not when you're watching it anyway. Sounds like it's getting close. You'll hear a click, that's when the pin drops. So that's the pin just there. You should see it drop in a sec. Any second now. There we go. The pin's dropped. We can take the lid off. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's steamed up. Bubbling away nicely. So, got to let that cool now. And then it'll be put into a plastic tub where it'll cool even more, then into the fridge of the van, and now we go back to the van and time to eat it. Now this seems rather a lot. It's a big dollop, but when it was in this box she said there doesn't seem to be a lot there. You'll eat it. We're making sure it's a proper curry night because we've got rice and we've got poppadoms and we've got, which we'll need to heat up, we've got some mini naans and we have chutney. So we'll not start. Oh, and we've got to go with it, of course. We have got some rice. I think we'll only need one packet, don't you? We'll chuck that in when it starts to heat through, rather than doing it as a boil in the bag. Do you think?
If we need it. Might not need rice.
I think.
The amount we've got.
I know, you'll eat it. We'll see. Have I got any bowls big enough to eat it? And you're back. So it's beginning to heat through now.
It doesn't look very appetising, I must say, but it does smell good.
I'm doing my best. It's actually 2 tins of dog food.
Yeah.
So we've added the rice. We'll let it bubble for another couple of minutes. Take it off the heat. Warm the naan breads up. One downside with these collapsible pans is that you can't really have another ring burning next to it, just in case it starts to melt them. I'm hungry now. Wind's blowing out there. Blowing in here. Warm through. Moisten them a bit, as you should. Someone's hopeful. These will only take a minute, won't they? These will only take a minute.
Or 2, or 3.
Right, this thing.
You need to steam them a bit, haven't you? Good old Sharwoods.
Yeah. Especially when it's on offer. And if there's any left, I'll end up eating it anyway because I love the stuff. It looks good enough to eat.
It does.
So one thing to do is try it now. Oh, we decided to go for the spoon option. It's easier to eat. Metal plates are all good, but when you put something hot on them,
they get hot underneath.
Very hot.
Compliments to the chef.
I think it probably took longer to reheat it in here than it did for the prep and cooking at home that you saw. But that's our Campervan Curry night. Thanks for watching.